Hi, this is Leah Myers, Myers Design Studio, and today we're going to be doing a spring daffodil wreath. I designed a new pattern for you that's quick and easy. The only time it takes is pretty much just doing the stitching afterwards, but I like to do the free motion stitching, so that makes it a little faster. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this project, and let's get sewing. So you have your 16-inch square prepared. You want to iron it in half, give it a line so that you can find your center, because we're looking for center now. And then once you get it in half, you want to fold it again and then iron where it's folded, so we can find that center point on this piece. And then at that center line that's folded and ironed, you want to measure 5.5 inches and mark it with a marking tool of your choice. It could be a graphite pencil. We're going to cover these little dots up with appliqué to make sure. So don't put too many, just enough to where you can see that circle, right? Because you don't want them peeking out in between any of the, because I'm using a pencil, I don't want them to show. But if you're using something that's like a fabric safe marker or something that disappears with water or something, then you don't have to worry about making a solid circle. But for me, I have to, because it's a graphite pencil, it's not going to wash away. So, but I'm going to cover these little dots of graphite with the clovers. I keep trying to say shamrocks, I apologize. And I put the big ones, the bigger clovers on first. And you can like space them out the way you want them. And then I put the mediums on the tops of that. And then in the next segment, I'm going to show you how I trace out the shapes with my pencil on top of the fusible heat. I used Heat and Bond Light. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so now if you want to you want to trace the images off of the sheet. And I've made the lines really dark so that you can trace them. And trace the clover shapes. And this is the little spring flower shape. And I want to model it after a daffodil, but the trumpet part is a little hard to get transferred into a large piece of fabric, so it's going to be an artistic kind of rendition. And get some transfer paper or a fusible paper. It's got a glue side, which is shiny and you can feel it, and then it's got a smooth paper side, and that is the side you want to trace on the flower shape. And I've got one traced right here. And let me move this a little bit. And you can see this, even in the camera, you can see the shape through the paper. So, but if you can't see it very well, you could go to a window and put it up on a window and trace the shape. But you just go around the shapes with a graphite pencil like that. And they can be approximate. You can, if you don't get it exactly, don't fret about that. Every flower is different in nature, so we're doing this as it's used as sort of a guideline. And just trace the flowers. And on my pattern, I have about 6 of them. You can do as many or as little of the flowers, or just do just clovers. It just is up to you how you want your piece to look. And so anyway, this is how you transfer the shapes to the fusible paper. And I'm going to keep doing this. And some of them can be like you can use different shades of yellow on the petals and make your center a different shade. it's all up to you and how you want your flowers to look like. So anyway, I'm going to do 6 of these flowers for my example, and I will cut these out and fuse them to the fabric. Okay, so as you're putting the flowers down, just put them in the order of the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It makes a little circle around the center part, which is 7. And then you want to tear the backing off of the paper. And of course they're going to be turned the other way, but that's all right. You just put them down in that order of where you want these flowers to go, and make sure that these are cooled completely. Yeah, I'm going to take that off. And you just put the petals around in a circle. And I put the numbers on there so you can, if you're going to cut them all out at once, you don't get them all mixed up. And I put them in a little tight or loose, but what you want is this center to be able to go over the middle, right? It's just a simple process. It's not very hard. And then you want to fuse all the flowers and all the leaves down before you start stitching. And I will do the stitching part next. So just peel the backing paper off. And just put them in you can spiral them, or some petals can go on top of each other. It's all up to you. I chose to use a light yellow for the petals and an orange batik for the center. Right here. So it resembles a daffodil. So when you stitch it, you can put in some more details of the petals. And the way I get the backing paper off, so I like to fold it like that, and you see it just separates like this, and then pop it on the middle. Pop it on. And I cut out a little piece of fabric, a smaller one, so I could just place over one flower. Because the big pressing cloth, my iron's on medium because hot's too hot for me. But follow the manufacturer's instructions on how to fuse this down. And then just fuse the whole flower down. And then just repeat this process and put all the flowers on where you want them. And then I have six in the pattern. I may stop with 5. I don't know. And I have some leftover little bitty shamrocks so that I can fill in places to fill out the wreath look. And these are a lighter color, so they don't blend in so much. But yeah, I reserved a few of the little shamrocks so I could fill in and maybe overlap some of the petals too. Okay, so now we're at the last bit where we're going to fill in all of the little clovers and you just peel the backing off like that. And we're just going to place the little clovers all around and fill this out. And then you're done with this wreath. And then we get to the stitching part. Okay. And I drop my feed dogs. And I put all my feet in it. One little thing. Okay, so I'm going to start with just going around the outsides of the petals like that. And I'm going to start probably on the inside. Let me drop my needle down. Start. Oops. I need to also put down my feetox. I mean my foot. Put down your foot. Hold it, and then raise it up again. See if I can get that bottom thread, because you don't want it to nest underneath. And I'm going to hold both my threads, and then I'm just going to, slowly outline the petals with the thread. And if I go faster, then my threads, it'll be a tighter stitch. So I'm going to do that one more time around that one again. And just slowly move it. I'm going to go down the center. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and clip these threads off because I don't need them. And I'm going to just continue outlining. And since it's yellow, it's going to blend in. It's going to blend in with those petals. And this is a lot like free motion quilting. You just want to tack down those edges. You can use a decorative stitch here as well. I'm going to go over that one more time and kind of go off. And it's a little mesmerizing. You go down the center. In fact, I'm going to go down the center of each of those because that's more like what a daffodil looks like, right? So as you go along, you can kind of figure out how you want your flower to look. Go down the center of them. Yeah. And then after that, I want to change my thread. And this has a thread cutter on it, which is really handy. Okay, and now I want to change it to some orange to do the center. Okay. And you'll hear it. It's very thick because you're going through that material, that glue part. I'm going to clip that thread real quick so it gets it out of the way. And then just outline the center. Make the center pretty. Outline. And I'm going to do it a couple times, just so it's thick. And I'm not right on the edge. I'm a little bit away from the edge. And this is where you can just get very artistic. And I'm kind of free motion embroidering here, even though I'm taking my time to make these daffodils look good. And then that's all I'm going to do for the center. And now I'm going to rethread it and put some green. I'm going to put this green on there. I'm going to hold the thread. And you want to pull the thread up, pull the bottom thread up, and that's up. Okay, and I'm just going to secure this down. And if you have a BSR, needle down. Let me put the needle down. If you have a BSR, this is a good place. If you have a Bernina BSR, that's where the machine will stitch as you move. It has little sensors on the bottom of the plate, or up here, I don't know which, but it has a sensor where as you move the fabric, it will move. So, and I just want to, like, define where those little petals are. Leaves. And then go around. And if you get to a point where they're attached, just go, around. And I like to go up the center of this one too. I'm going to do that on the other side. And let's do this one. This one's a small one. So I'm going to go around the outside of it. And then go up the center. And I'm kind of just making little circles. And then go up the center. And then go around the outside. And you're just securing this down. And then I just travel to the next one. Because you're doing the outsides, right? And I've got an orange thread in the way. We're just doing the outsides. Wherever you see the green, and some of the leaves will be underneath, so just go around the outsides of it. And then wherever you see that you can put detail, just go ahead and stitch the center part like that in detail. And you can make a decision if you want to do all the leaves and then come back to the flowers, so you don't have to do a lot of color changes. You can do that. Just go around the flowers. But try to get the outsides. And you can do a satin stitch, if you want. A satin stitch would be where you keep your foot in place. But I kind of like this free motion style, because what happens is you can get, I get through projects a little faster this way, and it's good practice too. It's good practice. So see, that leaf is going this way, so I put a nice stem in the middle, or a vein in the middle of that, and then I go around the flower tips. And just go ahead, and I've got to go around and finish tacking this one down. There we go. And then I'm going to travel on the outside until I get to this one. And I'm just going to tack him down. And there's a large space between me and that other flower, so I'm just going to do another color change. So anyway, you get the idea of how this goes, and you get really, really nice stitches around your piece, and your flower right there too. So anyway, you just keep doing that, and then you'll be all done. And if you're not confident enough in your embroidery, you can just use a color that really matches, or use a monofilament that doesn't have any color whatsoever. But I like to add a little color, because that little orange thread looks really good. In fact, the orange thread would look good in the petals too. I think I might switch from just the plain yellow to the orange. That'll be really pretty. Anyway, I will be back, and we'll talk about how we finish this. Thanks. All right, so now we're done with this spring wreath, which it turned out really pretty. It's a nice big block. You can incorporate this in a quilt, or you could just make this a wall hanging. And if you want to quilt it and put like the word spring in the middle, it's up to you how you want to quilt this. But I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.